Hey guys, how you doing? Today I want to talk about one of the biggest challenges I see, I mean, from a financial perspective when you're entering retirement. A lot of it is emotional and things, and it is challenging from that side. But one of the things that I don't like to see, but I do see a lot of, is people entering retirement with a fairly sizable mortgage. This is obviously difficult because for most people, because now you say, I've got 15 of my first years of retirement where I need, 2,000 extra dollars per month coming out of my RSP or registered accounts, most likely, to top up what I need. So if you need $3,000 or $4,000 a month to live, well, you actually need six because you still have to make these mortgage payments. So what I want to talk about is a couple ideas of how you can maybe alleviate this stress. But I think in every circumstance, if this is you, one, if you're getting close to retirement, I would try to aggressively pay it down as much as possible. Give yourself some options, give yourself potential to have way lower payments going through retirement, or really developing a financial plan around it. For some people, it doesn't matter at all. I mean, you've got a huge pension, a lot of money, whatever. You feel like your money is better invested and you're okay with that. Well, that's fine too. But it is, for more people challenging than not, right? Not everybody is actually that wealthy. So anyway, we'll talk about a little bit of an example of something. I just made an example up 5 minutes ago, and we'll see. But one thing that you can consider is potentially re-amortizing before you retire. You still have an income. You say, okay, well, my mortgage is coming up for renewal. I'm supposed to have 15 years left. What if I re-amortize, for 25 years? So instead of having it paid off at 80, you have it paid off at 90. But this at least frees up cash flow. So I just kind of did an example here. Let's say you've got a 4.5% interest rate, 15-year amortization, you're paying $2,000 a month. Well, that's a $261,000 mortgage. In the case where you're paying $2,000 per month for your mortgage, well, you're actually having to pull out $34,286 out of your registered accounts on the withholding tax. Your probably average tax rate on that, because of the extra income need, is going to be pretty close to 30%. So, it's costing you $10,286 in tax to make those payments. So if you can reduce it like that and work with a lender or mortgage broker to do that, well, now you only need to pull out $24,908 out of your RSP extra per year. So that means you're keeping $9,377 extra in your RSP, growing tax deferred, to help through retirement. So that's an option. It's not ideal. I mean, who wants to be paying a mortgage until they're 90? That was certainly not any of our intentions when we decided to buy the house. Well, another option, of course, is downsizing. That might free it up. You have enough equity, you can get into a brand new house without a mortgage payment, hopefully, or, a significantly reduced one. That could potentially work, but a lot of people, have emotional ties to their home and want to stay in there forever or whatever. So that's not an option for everybody. Reverse mortgage, potentially an option. Obviously not my favorite. I will talk about them, the details of them. It's not like we're pushing reverse mortgages. But in some cases, fine. Where I would do a reverse mortgage is if I, was single and didn't have any children. I'd reverse mortgage the hell out of my house at 65 years old and try and take on as much debt as humanly possible to die with nothing. I'd spend it all. So if that's the case, I would do it, in a heartbeat. I don't care about any of that other stuff. I'd live it up. Working part-time in retirement to help, alleviate that. You make an extra $1,500 a month for 5 years. Well, there's your mortgage payment. That's going to help, because the longer you can delay taking these chunks of money out, of course, is going to help. You could always potentially rent a room. I know not everybody wants to live with anybody, but there's a way to make a little extra money without really doing anything if there's somebody you trust. A little later, I think selling and renting isn't a terrible idea. I mean, you get to, 75, 80 years old, you sell, you've kind of run out of money. Now you've got several $100,000 plus your CPP and OAS. You should be able to make that mathematically work. One idea that I kind of think is awesome is like, let's say you and your best friend each have a $400,000 house or something like that, or $500,000 house, and you each owe $200,000 on it. And you're like, let's sell. Let's buy a $600,000 house together and live together with my BFF and drink wine and tell stories to each other every night. Because a lot of the times it is single people that are entering retirement with mortgages because of a separation, the extra expenses, or single parents or moms that are wanted to get in a house once they could afford it later in life. And lastly, I mean, there is the option to pay off big chunks if you've got some money in your TFSA, but now we're looking at the math. So you're saying, okay, well, let's say my interest rate is 4.5%. Is my TFSA going to long-term generate more money than 4.5% in returns? Don't know the answer to that, of course, but there is your gamble. So you say, if I think I'm going to get 7% in my TFSA because I'm unreal, or 11 because, you just dominate and you're the best investor ever, well, then you're going to want to keep your money in there. But if you're, a more conservative investor, you're worried about that, then there is an option. But like I said, with all of these, it's really about like talking these things out. They don't, people want to plan, and you're like, okay, well, you can maybe do this at 75. Well, we're talking when you're 65. A lot of things can change in 10 years. So all of these options are kind of like something that you should weigh the pros and cons of and consider as you're starting to go through retirement or preparing for retirement. That's why we recommend you reach out to, companies like us that are just going to take a look and say, okay, well, here's your options. Here's some strategies that should improve your situation. Now let's work together to sort of get them ironed out. And hopefully you can start sleeping easier in the house you own, on the pillow you own, as you enter into retirement. Thank you guys very much. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We're super close to 20,000, and then we're going to have a party. I think YouTube starts paying us like $1 a month extra. So I can't wait for that huge chunk of change to roll in. Cheers.